For all of you who listen to Submersion and own an Android device, go to the Google Play Store and download the Podcast Republic app. It's a fantastic app that allows you to get all of your favorite podcasts directly on your Android device. I personally use the app and I love it. I can search for the podcast I want to listen to, select it as a favorite, and have it just a click away. Make sure you select Submersion as a favorite so you don't miss any of our new episodes every Thursday. Again, the app is the Podcast Republic app, available on Android devices.
Episode 122.
Woo! Interesting start.
Dollar bills.
Interesting start because we're without our captain, so we're kind of out in the wilderness, floating.
He's dead. He died.
Yeah.
A mutiny.
This is, I don't know if this is a first ever super team or not, but it's a pretty unique squad. I mean, I feel like usually when Kyle's gone, it's like Jamie, myself, and Patrick.
Right, and I bring him in, but to be perfectly frank, I thought maybe I'd have Patrick watch the movie that we watched this week. But after I watched the movie, I was like, no thanks. Not going to force Patrick to do that.
It was rough. I party watched it with Zach and Alex, and I will admit, we laughed pretty hard at a few parts. There was some enjoyment derived from it, but it was otherwise, we'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
It was unintentionally funny, right?
Yes.
I think we'll get to it, but there was only one intentional joke that I laughed at the entire movie.
Yes, I did too. I can't remember which one it was, though, now. I even made a comment about it.
Yeah, we both. Yeah, We'll think of it.
We'll think of it. Otherwise, anything else going on with you guys before we hop on in and blast through this episode?
I want to know something.
What's that?
Jamie, how are you bowling?
Oh, well, yesterday was bowling night, and I bowled terribly. I think probably Kyle saw like fear in my eyes as I was looking at one of the games, and I thought for sure I was gonna get. There was a moment where I was like, I'm gonna bowl an 80. And then I was able to get up and over and get into the one teens, but it was probably the worst game I had bowled, individual game I had bowled in a couple of years. And then the overall game was pretty bad.
Your average is what, like 140-ish, right, Jamie?
High 150s.
150? Okay.
Yeah. So earlier this season I was over 160, which I was feeling pretty good about myself. But this week tanked. I think I tanked my average, which is a good thing.
Rolled some gutters. Yeah.
No, not gutters. I just couldn't get the ball to go into the pocket. I just kept on getting 6s and 7s and splits, and everything was all screwy. Welcome to Bowling Talk, where we talk all things bowling, and maybe you guys can help me on Bowling Talk figure out what it is. Is it the oil pattern? What's going on with my game?
The name of it could be Gutter Guys.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I think, Jamie, I think you're just in your head.
And I think you're absolutely right. I think I have a little bit of the yips. I think I'm bowling, and it used to be a phrase I used all the time in bowling. I'm bowling a little bit too much with this, the cabeza, and not enough with this, my arm. So I got to get back to that. Got to get back to the fundamentals. Just throw it like I know how to throw it.
You have to dance with the bowling ball. You know, you just dance.
Don't bowl with your cabeza. Bowl with your corazon.
The Manduba Oblongata.
My brazo. I got to go with those brazos.
I wish I still had that sound clip.
But yeah, that's how bowling's going. I don't know. Are any of you guys bowling?
I wish.
Yeah, I'd love to be bowling. I live in my hometown, and everybody's flown the coop. I've talked about it many times. I got to travel to link up with friends. So otherwise, I'd be in a bowling league.
I'll bowl with you, Ben. I'll drive over.
No, you won't. But hey, congrats! I know we got a listener, our friend John. He just landed a job in Cleveland, moving from Utah to the Cleveland area. Woo! So very exciting news for him. We're all very happy. News. But maybe we'll get him in that bowling league we're talking about, Zach.
He'll drive down. I'll pick, and then he'll ride with me, and then I'll drive over to Sydney. We'll go to Belmar Lanes.
8 hours of driving every night.
And so he's jumping from the Beehive State to what's Ohio?
The Buckeyes State.
Buckeyes, of course. How could I forget?
Come on,
Buckeye State.
Come on,
Gotsta. All right. And I think on that, it might be time to dive in Does anyone have a sound clip?
I'm pulling it up.
Oh,
Alex,
okay.
Alex, how are you doing?
I'm just ready to get over with this.
Dive!
What began as an innocent conversation among friends would soon spiral out of control and later be referred to by future generations as the eighth wonder of the modern world. Mac East Studios takes you on the journey of your lifetime as your captains, the artist formerly known as Brom, Jamie the Ointment, Kyle El Capitan, and the Gruesome Twosome present Submersion.
It wasn't bad. Pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Salvaged it.
Now that we got into it, ready to go. Alex, what do we watch? What do we watch this week?
I think this is a movie that had been brought up multiple times in other pods, but it's called Subferatu, a movie that came out this year, 2020. Who was the director again?
He was the director. He was the director, writer, producer.
Oh, he did it all, huh?
Patrick
Penta.
Penta.
And yeah, he was the cook, right? Or the waiter.
He was the waiter in the little green sequence or the flashback, depending on how you look at it.
We continue and complete our Halloween mini cycle
Yeah.
for Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Don't mess with the Great Pumpkin.
And yeah, I don't know. I think I thought for sure this was going to be kind of the better in terms of like the more pure horror film of the ones we watched, but I don't know. I guess we'll be talking about it. But I also didn't find this one. This is more of a comedy when you think of the comedy horror balance kind of going on with it.
Jamie, this is Zach.
Yeah.
Hi. Can I make a request? Can you please speak as Mike Dooley did with his character the entire time?
Oh boy. He's like, and God, I'm not gonna be able to do it. He's kind of doing it like an announcer, like a TV announcer.
That's good. Keep it going.
Where he's kind of over enunciating and stuff like that.
Did Jamie just?
Jamie is gone. We're doing this without him. All right.
We lost.
All right, keep
he
it
just
going.
launched. Guys, he is out the torpedo.
He is gone. All right.
He is out.
Oh,
And
shit.
All right.
we
so that means you got to talk like that guy now. And Zach, you got to do the recap.
Oh.
Yeah. I think that's sort of.
Okay. Well.
Yes.
I guess I will talk like Mike Dooley does in the movie Subferatu.
Oh yes, this is gold.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
I'll bail you out here. Hopefully he shows up here in the next moment or so. But apparently I just watched... We talked about Halloween movies last episode. Apparently, I watched another Halloween episode or movie and didn't even know it. I watched Knives Out. And IMDb
What'd
is
you
propping
think of
that
that?
up. I enjoyed it. IMDb's propping it up as a Halloween pick for all tastes with their new video they posted. But no, I really enjoyed it.
Very good movie. I hate the director. I'm going on record as saying that, but I like the movie.
Yeah. Every time I've mentioned Knives Out so far, people have either complained about Rian Johnson or said they have not watched the movie because they hate Rian Johnson.
Yep.
I did watch the movie. I do hate Rian Johnson. Good movie.
Okay.
No, I
All right.
thoroughly enjoyed it.
Alex, I think you'd be in the same boat as me.
I don't know. We'll see, man. Because he directed.
Are you gonna watch it?
Well, I haven't watched it yet, but I might. But he also directed that really stupid episode of Breaking Bad that everyone seems to think is amazing, and it was not.
The Fly?
Yeah, the fly, the mosquito, whatever it was called. Yeah, it was,
The Fly.
it was bad. I just don't trust him anymore. Can't trust him.
I didn't know he did that. That was easily the worst episode of Breaking Bad by
that's him.
a mile.
Yep, that's him.
Some people love that
Oh,
episode.
God, we lost Zach, too. Alex, it's just you and I.
This is like a true Halloween podcast now. People get
Who
picked
is
off
going to
one by
go
one.
next?
It's probably Kyle flying around as a bat right now. He just,
Just murking folks.
I know.
Just
I think we
ricking
need
them.
to get into this movie, guys, regardless when Jamie comes back.
All right, and he can pick up where we left off.
Well, I mean,
You
go
know,
ahead.
he's scrambling.
Oh yeah, he's probably worried. Didn't he get a new computer? God, I'd hope to God if something just like spilled on it. Like that would be terrible. He would
What,
be,
like Tang?
Does he drink Tang? He dropped his Tang on his computer. Oh no, my Tang!
I mean, if anybody on this podcast drinks Tang, I don't know. I think Zach would be my number one choice, and then Jamie.
I do not.
I could just see you like having that little throwback to some fond memories you had of Tang as a child or something, and you just whip it out every now and again.
I have good memories of Ovaltine, but not Tang.
Oh, Ovaltine. Yeah, I was big into Nesquik and Yoo-Hoo.
Strawberry Nesquik?
No, I'm not a big fan of any like artificial strawberry flavored things. Like I don't like strawberry ice cream either.
I like strawberry ice cream if it doesn't have strawberries in it.
Okay, I follow. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the dehydrated or whatever frozen strawberries and ice cream either. Because there's like ice cream that isn't strawberry flavored that they pepper those in, and then there's like the cherry cordial one. Like those ice creams are so nasty. I feel like those are like just old people ice cream.
Yeah, they're just like torturing themselves near death. Doesn't make sense.
But Yoo-Hoo,
Ovaltine, though, I used to eat that by the spoonful.
You ate it?
Yeah, dude.
Oh my god.
It would be all powdery and stuff, but I was just like fucking crazy young Zach.
That's just like dry powder going straight in your mouth.
Mm-hmm. And then, sometimes I would like
take a little sip of milk and
yeah, drink some milk. Yeah.
What about Yoo-Hoo?
I like it.
Good. Do they still even make it? I haven't seen that in years.
Yeah, they still make Yoo-Hoo. Oh yeah, big time.
Alex knows it.
I like Yoo-Hoo.
Alex, remember that time you drank like 30 of them one night?
30 Yoo-Hoos? There's no way.
Oh wait, that was Twisted Tea.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're confusing it with Twisted Tea.
No, it wasn't even 30. It was 17.
Oh. Well, like 17?
I'm not sure I've had Twisted Tea. Is it basically like Brisk, like spiked Brisk?
No, it tastes better than Brisk.
Oh, dude, I love Brisk, so I might really love Twisted Tea.
It's good, Ben. It's good. Okay, so
should we just get into some segments?
You want to do segments and not the recap?
We could just recap.
I mean, we can try it.
Do a 5-minute. Do a 5-minute recap. We watched it. Yeah, the three of us. Yeah, we did watch it. Yeah,
we can help each other. I'll start.
I'm just saying, Jamie gets a little offended when people stomp on him doing the recap.
Well, he's not here.
I'm offended. Yeah, I'm offended when people don't show up. So,
God, you'd be offended. I've been on less than half.
Yeah, no shit, Alex. No.
If Jamie lost his Audacity file, we may be doing all of this in vain.
He's not even gonna.
Oh, nice little call back to that.
It's true.
Crossword puzzle we're working on. Nice, Ben.
Oh my God, you're right.
This puzzle. I don't know what you're talking about.
I said
Very
vain,
nice.
and that was one of the multiple answers on this puzzle Jamie was telling us about.
Mm-hmm. Well, why don't you guys just do like a 5-minute recap, because it's clearly not our forte. As a group.
Will Forte?
Oh, we were just talking
That's
about him
back
too.
to last night. Oh my God, inside jokes. People love these.
He's in this movie, but not really, listeners. Will
Right.
Forte.
Right.
Actually, let's look it up. But let's do this thing. Who is this guy?
Probably Will Butte, right?
Nate Pringle plays a Nazi soldier, and he sounds just like Will Forte from the movie Beer Fest, which we were not on, but don't worry, we will be coming out with our own episode of that soon, right, guys?
That's correct.
We're definitely doing it, but I wouldn't be putting any dates on it.
By December 4th.
Oh
right.
shit.
All right, I think we can do
The
that.
clock's ticking.
I think we can do that.
We got to do the Beer Fest Macropod, and we got to do the Team America Micropod without Jamie and Kyle.
Yep. We're sailing for adventure.
It's happening.
Well,
all right.
So are we doing this?
I think we could complete. I just received word from the mothership that someone is out for now. Jamie
completely lost internet.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's
Okay,
good.
so
That means he kept his recording. He just lost internet connection.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's get into Subferatu, directed by Patrick Penna.
Would it help if I pull it
Patrick
up?
Penna. What's that?
Would it help if I pull it up and share the screen and kind of like
whoa.
fast forward along?
Oh my gosh, I think that's Jamie and he's back. I don't have to talk like this anymore. Jamie, is that you? Oh,
right.
He's not recording, he says, but he's coming, listeners. Don't you worry. Oh my, I remember when I had dial-up internet.
Oh boy, I think I'm back. I think I'm back now. Oh, we get the video. Have you guys been doing it? Have you recapped the movie yet? Are you done recapping?
We distracted the audience. I don't think they even realized that that you were even gone.
For how long? I had to completely
We
reset
were
my
talking
internet.
about all these different topics. They were really compelling conversations. I don't think they even knew you were gone. So
I was doing my Mike Dooley impressions.
Oh, for like 10 minutes. Okay.
yeah.
Oh, you know it, Jamie. I do a lot in 10 minutes.
It's really good, and you'll see when my internet cut out, you guys lost me before I lost you. So you were doing the impression, and I was cracking up over here. I was like, great impression, and you were talking about how you lost me, and I was like, what? What is they even talking about? But yeah, should we get into the movie?
Yeah.
It's gonna be terrible for Kyle to edit, by the way. Like, oh, he's gone, and literally the mice will play because we're gonna give him a pile of shit, and he's gonna have to stitch it all together. All right. So we open, and this movie, ultra low budget, using all kinds of clip, all kinds of stuff. The movie is basically like if they came to us and said, "Hey, you guys, podcast superstars, #1 podcast on iTunes, I believe." We can fact check that, but I think we're #1. We're gonna let you make a movie. I think this is more or less how I would propose that we do it. We try to build some kind of set, force Kyle to do that, and then we would just fill it in with like World War II clips. And so that's basically what we see. We see a submarine go by. It's a World War II U-boat submarine. We get into that submarine, and it's Germans, Nazi Germany, and they see like a sinking boat out there. They got terrible German accents. Only half of them can even really do a German accent. I'm sure, Zach, you could probably do a much better German accent than most of them.
He's already been holding down this Dooley accent.
Exactly.
Well.
The Dooley accent's at the top of the line. So I can only assume we don't have to even, the listeners, trust me, probably just as good his German accent.
Thank you.
And they're like, basically they're like, we'll just leave them. No need to get those. And then one of the guys comes in, and he seems to be a commander or a political operative. It's hard to tell even what his thing, because he's not the captain of the submarine. He's someone else. I think he's the one. He's like almost like David Duchovny in Phantom, I think, where he like has a special weapon, a Nazi Germany weapon, and he's the handler. So he has like a lot of control on the boat. And he's basically like, we're picking them up. And the captain wants to refuse, and then the guy's like basically like, no, I overrule you, and we are picking them up. And so they decide to pick up the people who are sinking in this boat. And they're brought on board, and they are a bunch of jokesters, one of them being Captain Dooley, Mike Dooley. Mm-hmm. And it was a cruise ship. It was more or less Gilligan Island type situation. They were on a 3-hour tour.
Literally said that.
Yep,
they said that.
They said it. And the boat ended up sinking, and they get picked up. And there's a guy who was like the entertainment. There was a woman who was like, well, she was entertainment, and he was a DJ. And then another guy was snacks. And keeps on saying it was a little more complicated than that.
Worst actor. Easily I've ever seen.
I couldn't tell if it was on purpose. Like I couldn't tell if he was like supposed to be like, play it like you don't care, and then he did it that way.
Jamie, I came to the conclusion that he was the best actor in the movie because he played that character exactly what the directors told him to. Because there's no way he was that bad.
I think they were supposed to say like, yeah, you're like a doofus, and so that was his doofus character. I couldn't tell. Then there's a guy, he's all dressed up in like a sailor outfit, and I don't know. At some points they imply that they're all tourists. Other points they imply that they're whatever. Like the guy who's in the sailor suit implies that he works at Google in San Francisco at one point. The other people are from whatever. It's even hard to tell kind of what the idea is. but they all seem to seemingly had jobs on this boat. And the captain comes in, and Mike Dooley, and he's basically been on the podcast at this point, given how good Zach's impression is. But he says something's weird is going on. Let me handle it. And kind of the point, and he comes in, another weird thing, he comes in all dry, like he comes in completely dry from outside, and everyone seems confused about this because they were all in the water. And then he's like always high, like he's always smoking weed. And so he's like super duper high.
A little cannabis indica.
Yeah. And he's also almost immediately suspicious of kind of what's going on. He seems to know that something weird is going on because he looks around and the submarine is it's an old U-boat, and he's like, what's going on? And so it seems like he almost plays along for a while just to get his bearings of exactly what's going on. So he comes in, and immediately the Germans, we get the sense, or we find out, the Germans believe that it's World War II. Hitler has just been killed, or killed himself.
Mm-hmm. The day before.
Right, and they believe that now Germany is being run by donuts or something.
Denets.
Yeah. And that their ultimate mission is now to go and surrender their boat in New York City and get to America. And so they believe that these people that they've brought in are a part of the U.S. Navy, and so they're going to use them as like to help them guide them to that ultimate goal. But even Dooley, who he's from the future to them, he kind of playing it straight. He's like, yeah, we're totally the U.S. Navy. You figured me out. I was trying to trick you, but here we go. Yeah, you figured you out, just to try to get more and more information. And so when he gets back to his crew, he's kind of like, yeah. So by the way, this is kind of what seems to be going down. Everyone on this boat looks like they're sick. It's a skeleton crew. They're being really shady about why that is. Why is it that they only have like 5 people on this boat? And I think that they might have a weapon around, like a bomb or something, that's making them all sick. And so he's like really concerned about that. They're heading towards America with what he thinks maybe is like an atomic bomb or whatever. And he's also like, they either we've went back in time or they've come into the future. But something weird is going on where they actually do believe that it's World War II.
I looked it up. It's Karl Dunitz.
Dunitz, sure.
Dunitz.
And the captain's all listening to them on having this conversation. And so one of the younger guys, a 16-year-old, I forgot what his job was, torpedo guy or something, weapons. He comes in and kind of threatens them. And it's basically like, oh, what are we, like from a different time? Like, what's going on here? What are you? Are you supposed to be like a prostitute, pointing to the woman? Are you supposed to be like a lumberjack, a woodsman of some sort, pointing to the bad actor guy? Why are you all dressed all like Halloween crazy over here? Topical. And what happened? Oh, and then, yeah, they get the gun from him. They find out that it's unloaded. The kid's basically too young to handle live ammo. But he basically is like, don't tell, like that I became embarrassed by this. And so the captain's like, I won't tell, but you take me to the captain and let me like handle my business or whatever. And so he goes up there and convinces him to like give them all jobs to help like run the submarine. Is that right at that point? Is that where we end up?
Sounds right.
Something like that. Movie flows very well at this point. No, but they're like, one person starts working on the radio, another one's like working the wheel, another one is whatever.
A little bit of a montage.
And also we get a sense that Dooley, the captain, he's claustrophobic and has this history of issues with being in like very tight spaces, and also has something going on with his ex-wife or something. He's got like multiple ex-wives or something like that. Sure.
The Michael Reed character, was he working the radio, ends up kind of befriending the black character a little bit. I think they're kind of bonding over baseball and radio and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the woodsman guy, or the bad actor guy, the doofus, he has a phone, and that's kind of an important thing right now. He also finds like a vampire kit. It says like vampire on it. He's like, maybe this is important. And they're like, yeah, maybe we'll have to think about that for later, this vampire kit. So they put that away for a little bit. We already know from the title of the film, Subferatu, that this is obviously the case, that there is a vampire on this submarine. But he's got the phone, and immediately the Germans like pick that up, and they basically confiscate it from him and send him to the engine room, where he's going to help the engine room guy out. So that's going to be his job.
I don't know if you noticed, but I caught it and pointed it out when we were doing our party watch. But the lumberjack guy hands over the phone, and then a few moments later, I think they just didn't have enough footage of him just kind of like staring blankly. They actually reused the footage of him handing over the phone, and you can see him hand over the phone again.
Oh, really? Yeah, I did not notice that.
It was awful.
Solid. Good catch by Ben.
That's a very good catch.
Give him a round of applause.
Thank you.
So anyways, at some point close around here, there's a contact. They actually find a bunch of jet skis. And the Germans are confused by this. They think there's some kind of U.S. super weapon, so they decide to fire on the jet skis. And the Americans spend a while like trying to convince them not to do that, and trying to come up with a way to explain why you shouldn't do that, even though everyone believes that the Germans think it's like 1945 or whatever. And so eventually they decide to fire on him anyways. They call them to the engine room. The engine room guy has to go and like help with the torpedo stuff. And they eventually are able to fire and destroy, completely explode a whole bunch of jet skiers. While this is happening, the doofus, he sees that his phone is down in the engine room, and he goes to grab his phone. And the guy who's kind of like handling the vampire, or the sketchy guy who convinced them to bring the prisoners on, comes in, confiscates the phone again, and then sicks a vampire on him and kills him. At this point, someone else had already died, right? Someone else, one of the other people, the guy in the sailor suit, I think he had been bitten by a vampire.
Yes.
Already at this point, while they were sleeping. And he, turns into a vampire in front of everyone and gets stabbed as well, and killed in the process. So they're already dropping like flies. At this point, there are 2 of them dead. Even he actually, it's kind of funny. Like I forgot that there were 2 people that had been killed. And the captain, Dooley also had didn't remember at this point. He's like, "You've already killed one of us," and someone goes like, "That should be 2 of us." He's like, "Oh yeah, that's right. You've already killed 2 of us." So, anyways, they continue to head towards America. One of the German guys comes and like says that he wants to help out, because he also knows that something weird is going on, and doesn't like it, and wants to get to America and make it big in show business. And so he's going to help out when it comes to the climactic point where they're supposed to finish getting to America or whatever. Are we getting? And pretty much we're nearing the end in a way, right?
There's not much to it.
There's a lot of talking in this. Dooley talks a lot, like a lot. He talks all the time and says a lot of jokes all the time.
And he's kind of like the narrator at times too. Like,
yeah,
he does a ton, too much, or maybe not enough. I don't know.
It's hard to. I don't know. In some ways, I think he was one of the few guys who has actually some professional credits on his resume. So I wonder if in some ways he was meant to do the heavy lifting the whole time. But it's hard to say, because it's not like he's got like 120 credits. It's not like he's like a superstar compared to them. He just has more, and clearly a little older than some of the younger castmates of his. So a lot of the movies filled in with him just kind of like narrating stuff or talking about stuff. But they're heading towards New York, and as they get near, everyone starts to freak out because they are heading into New York Harbor, and Dooley's adamant, like, you can't do this. We're going to get blown to smithereens if you do this. And he's like, no, we won't. And the weird sketchy guy comes in and gets the submarine going like super fast, like 100 knots or something like that. Super fast. And basically he's like, this is how we'll get past all the Americans or whatever. But they get stopped anyways by the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard's like, what the fuck are you doing here? You're like a U-boat. You have a hunk of junk boat. Like, what's going on? Stop. And they get in kind of like a weird back and forth with this Coast Guard, because the Germans are, justifiably a little confused as to what's exactly happening. and the Dooley eventually is like, you have to destroy this boat. And they get fired upon, and the boat crashes onto the bottom of the ocean. And they're all trapped now. They say they only have like 30 minutes of air, which seems a bit nuts. But they have to, in the process of trying to escape, they have to try to make sure that they kill this vampire, because the main point would be to make sure that this vampire doesn't make it into New York. So they pull out their vampire kit, they get their stake, they get everything going, they head back there, and there's a few people they have to kill. They have to kill the guy who's been handling the vampire, and then he's got an ally in the engine room guy. They were working together in using this vampire to kill people. And then the captain's going to go take care of them while the main people have to take care of a vampire. And, oh boy, it's a pretty good scene. Brom, how do they take care of this vampire in this very climactic fight scene? That was you, Brom.
I actually fell asleep.
Oh, is that right? Did anyone not fall asleep during the party watch? I think you all fell asleep.
I didn't fall asleep.
Oh, so how'd they defeat that vampire?
Oh, they were throwing oil on it, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't just any kind of oil.
Oh, it's garlic.
What was it, Alex?
CBD oil.
You laughed at that.
Yeah.
It's like a little CBD oil.
It was pretty
And
fun,
then
actually.
The vampire kind of like withers and falls asleep as a bat, and they throw the
Turns
bat
into a
out of
bat.
they throw the bat out the torpedo tube. So literally,
Why not rip the bat's head off?
I thought the exact same thing. Or take the little steak, maybe whittle a steak into a tiny bat steak, and then stick it into its heart. This is a little bat heart. But to each their own, and they just throw it at the torpedo tube. Seems like it's going to survive and fly up and go to New York City and kill everyone. But whatever. It was a weird way of doing it, just because how much of this film called Subferatu actually involved a vampire. I would say approximately 2.5 minutes.
Yep.
Maybe. Something
Very
like
little.
That. Very, very, very little. And so anyways, they've killed the vampire. They hear some gunshots. So even that's done off screen. I thought for sure those people were going to come back. But no, indeed, the captain kills the allies of the vampire. They all gather together. They're basically like, we're probably going to die. But then they say, well, we could go out the torpedo tubes, to pull an old Brom over here and get out this torpedo tube. And up to surface, we're in New York Harbor, so we're not that deep. We might be able to make it, but only one of us will have to stay behind, because otherwise, we need someone to shoot us out the torpedo tubes. And so he's using joints to pull the short straw. The first couple people go out, but the captain of the submarine realizes that Dooley, he's going to do the noble thing and sacrifice himself. And the captain says, "Nay, this is my boat. I'm going to go down with the ship." And he says no, puts Dooley into the torpedo, launches him away, and he survives. And we get a little bookend scene of him sitting on a beach, kind of being like a crazy story, isn't it? Can't wait for the sequel. And then it says in big letters.
German captain plays guitar.
Yeah. Then it says in big letters, coming soon, Subferatu 2.
We need to give credit where credit's due, and that's what Ben's saying right now. Ben?
I was awake to hear the German captain sing "I Love You, Miss Germany." It was actually a pretty good song.
Full song.
Written by the director.
Really?
But I feel like if you're in that situation, I feel like you could, close the hatch in the torpedo room and flood the torpedo room and swim out.
It'd be tough. You'd have to be able to hold your breath for a long time. You have to be like Tom Cruise.
No, obviously it would be definitely a challenge of your endurance there and your breath holding capabilities. But I feel like you could flood the chamber, and then once you've matched the pressure in the room, you could swim out the torpedo tube. Yeah,
I guess my point would be we all can't be Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise could do it 100%.
He could,
and I know that for a fact. I think also maybe Kurt Russell, but me and you, come on.
No, but I mean, if it's, I would at least try.
And I guess one thing would be if I was there and Tom Cruise was there, I would say, Tom Cruise, hold your breath. And then as it was getting close and I was like running out of breath, I'd be like, and he'd kiss me and then breathe air into my body. And then I'd be able to survive because Tom Cruise, even though he blew air into my mouth, he would still have enough to get to the surface as well.
Mm-hmm.
The end. Wow. Yeah. That was Subferatu, and I gotta say, I was actually fairly excited to see what this movie was all about. But I guess you'll see with my ratings exactly how I thought about that.
So, given the start of this episode and your absence and return, we are still under 35 minutes right now.
Well, I think that makes sense. This movie is I'm not distracted by Kyle being an idiot, total idiot over there.
He's a moron.
And also, this movie didn't have a lot going on.
Nope, it was very short. I only missed a little bit. I think it was predominantly just the ultimate climax there with the
I like the idea that you fell asleep on a party watch.
I know.
And you were just like...
And these guys couldn't have been laughing too much, because if they did, they would have stirred me from my slumber.
I didn't know you fell asleep.
So
I got up and laughed probably a few times.
Because you heard me when I put my extension cord on. That was when I went and laid in bed, and I was near the end.
Yeah, me and Kai, we were talking at bowling, and I was like, I don't actually think they're going to finish this movie. But you guys surprised me. You did.
Jokes
We finished
on you.
it.
We did.
Yeah.
We had nothing better to do.
So did Kyle send his review, by the way?
We have not
don't think
received
so.
it yet. I assume he'll tack it on.
He'll insert it. Yeah. So my guess is
we'll do it.
His number's
We'll
going
do
to be pretty low. Does anyone want to go first in particular? Does anyone have it like nailed down exactly what they want to say about this movie?
I'm guessing Kyle gives a 5. That's my guess. We should all guess. I guess Kyle gives it a 5. He will like this movie for some reason.
I'll go with 3.5.
Kyle's going to give it like a 9.5, and that's because I'm going to give it a 10. So he's just going to be in a little bit underneath me.
No, for the sanctity of the podcast, he'll give it a low number just so this doesn't end up on our Mount Rushmore.
He's going to. My prediction is he will give it potentially. I think he might give it like a 0 or a 0.2, something like that.
I think he's going to give
like
it
this
some
movie.
points. No, I know he didn't. Yeah.
He said his blood was boiling with rage, and so it'd be funny if he now inserts his review, and he's like, "My blood was boiling with rage."
You have insider info.
I do.
That makes me want to lower my 3.5.
Oh, is that what you're coming in at?
No, that's what I'm going to guess he was going to give it.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to give it much lower.
All right, Brom, go ahead. How about you start off?
Well, it did put me to sleep, but I really won't dock it for that. I mean, it had the same kind of tone throughout the movie. It was making a lot of really lame jokes that were very cringe-inducing. There was maybe, like Zach said, 1 or 2 moments that I genuinely laughed at that they wanted you to laugh at, but otherwise we were kind of laughing at their expense. And I mean, some of those were great. And I mean, a lot of movies that have those elements are great movies by how bad they are and how serious they took themselves. But this one was a movie that was, a lot of tongue-in-cheek, goofy humor, and it just ended up becoming one of those just really cringy watches. Poor acting, dumb story. It wasn't like, even if it was bad and just had a lot of like played with the idea of having vampires on a submarine, I might have got into it. They built their own set. That was kind of cool. Give them props for that. I mean, for operating on a low budget, I mean, I don't want to berate them into, never trying something like this again, even though, I mean, it looks like it was the only acting credit for a lot of these folks. They're stand-up comedians from Seattle. I ended up looking into it a little further. So I wouldn't want to discourage them from trying again with something, but it was a clumsy picture, and I think I'm gonna give it a 1.5.
All right, I can jump in here. I always jump in second. I feel like you set the stage. I'm ready to come in actually a little lower than you, unless the director or any of the stars want to come in and do an interview on this podcast, in which case I'll give it a 12. But until then, I thought this movie, unfortunately, I mean, yes, very impressive. I read online, there was a Reddit post by someone who was like a grip / gaffer on this movie. And he said he had very
old gaffer.
He said very positive things about everyone who worked on it. So good. Good things to say about them, including in particular the director. And he said that they filmed it in a week, and overall the entire production was 3 weeks, including building the set.
Wow.
So pretty impressive to go all the way through on what seems to be a micro budget with some kind of improv or comedy group from Seattle as the primary actors and stuff like that, and kind of get that finished in that amount of time. So definitely props to them in getting it done, having something produced that looks pretty good, all things considered.
There were a couple scenes that looked actually like really good. I think there was a scene where they were smoking. Scarlett was talking with one of the Germans. I thought looked really nice. I even mentioned it while we were doing the party watch. And then I thought the reminiscing scene of dinner on the boat with the director as the waiter. That scene actually looked pretty impressive when they had like a really zoomed out shot, and you could kind of see along the tubular inside of the boat or U-boat or wherever. I forget where they were at for that, but I thought that looked really cool.
And acting wise, like for having few credits, I actually think they're probably about three and a half good actors, pretty good actors. I mean, the main guy clearly is a good actor. He's just it's like a certain flavor of comedy that you have to be like ready to have it go for 88 minutes. But I mean, I think a few of the other guys other actors were pretty good. And
I think the German captain was all right?
Yeah, German captain was good. I thought the sonar guy was good. And I thought the DJ guy was good, ish. But overall, like a valiant effort, all that kind of stuff. I just didn't like it. Didn't get it. Didn't get into it. Didn't understand why it's called Subferatu. The vampire portion of it is very minor, all things considered. It's more of almost like a time travel movie than anything else. They don't even really explain too much about what the vampire is. It seems to be some kind of Nazi Germany super weapon.
Have you seen Nosferatu?
I actually have never seen the original Nosferatu.
I was going to ask if there was any similarities in terms of what style of vampire or vampire movie Nosferatu was.
I will say I've never seen it either, but I've seen clips. And the scene in this movie where it shows the vampire's eyes like in green, that's in the original.
Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't do it to me, and do it for me, and I honestly didn't. I didn't love spending the time. Like I got through an hour of it, and the next day I still had 30 minutes to go, and I was not super pleased with having to continue on and finish it and stuff like that. I think it's probably one of the worst movies we'd actually watch for this, but for their valiant effort, I'm going to give them a 1. Just because it's like the effort's there. It just is not. It's not for me. It's just not for me at all.
I agree.
And I wouldn't. And honestly, like as I said, I wasn't going to have Patrick watch it. No thanks.
No, yeah, I agree. Like I think I said the same. I was coming in from the same angle. Just definitely an effort. Credit there. Give them some points for the effort.
Yeah.
All right, who's next?
I'll go. So the movie's kind of confusing to me in several points because it doesn't really explain why the time travel happened, if at all. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't really explain. I know they said they were like on a 3-hour tour, but when they saw the ship, it kind of looked like an old school sailboat. I felt like, I don't know if I misunderstood that or not. So there's just several question marks that I have about this movie, and I just can't get over that. But there were some funny parts, albeit intentional or not. And anytime that there's some sort of humor, I'm okay with that. I was actually really impressed with the set because we have watched some movies, and I think you guys have watched more, where it's just so unrealistic that they're not even in a submarine or some sort of, naval ship. It's laughable. But this one, they actually tried. There's a little bit of feeling of claustrophobia. You can kind of tell with how close they were standing, and I mean they tried, and I think that's good. Considering some of these other movies we've watched with even more of a higher budget and production, where they don't try at all.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there's been a few movies where you can tell they're like in a warehouse, and a few where they're in like the one I think was Blackwater. I teased it looked like they were in like a laser tag studio.
Right. Yeah. So oftentimes they're on like big destroyer ships and stuff like that. So they're just like way bigger.
Right. So I think they did a pretty good job with that. I think the writing was okay if they could have explained the story a little bit better. The acting was exactly what you'd imagine, and you guys have already stated that a few times. We're on a sub. We've got sub themes. It's Halloween. It's funny. It's also bad. I'm going to give it a 10. Like I said, I can't. No. It could be higher if they explain like the time travel, like who really did the time traveling. You know, did they enter some sort of portal, or is this just a group of rogue Nazis in the year 2020, which is all, be it very possible, just floating around down in the Bermuda trying to attack people? I mean, that very well could be it too. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's just not enough to go off of. It would be higher if they explained the time travel. I'll just say that. So if anybody likes weird, we got to think about it afterwards and not really come to an answer. If you got to think about that kind of movie, this might be for you. Just remember that. Take it to heart and watch this one because it's a 10. It's not as bad as what these other clowns are saying.
It's true.
All right. If you would like to watch it, you can rent it for $2.99 on Amazon.
And if anyone wants to come on from the movie for an interview, you can do that also for $2.99.
I like that.
And we will all give you a 10.
Yeah.
I won't.
Are you going to give them 9.5?
And I'm going to jump in here with my hot take.
Yeah, please elaborate, Zach.
So, Subferatu, more like I almost forgot to care about this movie because
Subferatu, more like Nosferatu.
Yeah, like what? No, it's just not good. Not good. Patrick Penna, you know I love you, buddy. But this was just a freaking terrible movie. And I get that it's low budget. I get that they did it in 3 weeks. Whatever. Comedians from Seattle. Whatever. It's just not good. The story doesn't make freaking sense. It's like Alex said. There was no freaking explanation for the time traveling. Like Bermuda Triangle. Like what? What? Like it just. But nothing was ever concluded. The characters weren't engaging. Like, yeah, I did my impression. Oh, you know what I mean? That guy, Dooley. But he was actually like the most annoying character in the entire movie for me. Like, I just kept hoping he would die. And I actually had some crazy theory that it was actually him and the vampire was his wife. And he was secretly the captain taking people into the Bermuda Triangle to feed her and keep her alive because he didn't want to ever lose her, which would actually make a hell of a lot more sense.
Yeah, it would have been way cooler.
It would have been way cooler of a storyline, but no, instead it was ass up in the air and nothing to care. It was dumb, and it just made no sense. I didn't like it. Did I like anything? The one joke. What was the one joke, Ben? We laughed at one planned joke, and that was
think of it. I can't think of it.
What the fuck was? They referenced a Second Life. The stupid character was like, I guess I could be playing Second Life. And then Dooley's like, oh, yeah, we're down here talking, and he's talking about Second Life, whatever the fuck that is. I laughed at that. That was the only funny joke. So kudos to you. You get me to laugh once, I'll give you a 1. But that's all you're getting. Oh, 1.
Yeah, I think there's a few times where there'd just be a really cringy joke, and Zach would just go, ha! That's all you got.
Well, gang, I wish I could be on the episode, but I couldn't make it. But there was no way that I was going to let that stop me from giving a review for Subferatu. First off, let's give credit where credit's due on the movie. I know there's only so much that can be done with a movie of this budget, especially with exterior shots, and a lot of those we see the CGI that kind of looks like something for maybe a Sega Dreamcast, maybe worse. For this, they had, the stylized outside shots. They didn't try to just go too crazy into it. So I guess that was okay. The interior of the submarine did look good. Everything was pretty well lit. You could see things. And we were in the sub pretty much the whole damn movie. Only a couple scenes where we were outside of it. Now, what's wrong with this? Pretty much literally everything else. And I shouldn't say literally everything. I can say almost everything else is wrong with this. There are only 2 shreds of decency that I found within the entire movie outside of those others mentioned, excluding the captain and the 16-year-old boy. Everybody's acting on the submarine was probably the worst that we have ever seen. The main character was doing this really strange thing with his voice the whole time. Bugged me so much. I kid you not. You could walk into a grocery store, go out, pick up a bunch of random people, have them act in a movie, and I would not be surprised if they outperformed the people that we had in this. Movie's called Subferatu because it's based off of a very famous vampire movie. And guess what? We barely get any vampire scenes. And we don't even really know if it's a vampire, right? It's just killed with not even killed. It's just like subdued with CBD oil and thrown back into a hatch. The plot was absolutely boring. The jokes were horrible. The acting was atrocious. There's nothing working here. It's just, I don't get it. Sometimes when you're watching a movie, and a lot of people have experienced this, I know I have, you'll get angry when you're watching a movie because a character that you're so connected with has something really bad happen to them, or maybe there's somebody playing a villain that's just so good at what they're doing, and you hate them for it, and you become angry with them. And I became angry watching this movie, not because any of those things. I became angry at watching this movie strictly for the fact that I was watching this movie. This is possibly the worst thing that I've ever watched, and I hope it's the worst thing that I will ever watch. I don't know what can go lower than this. Way back when, I gave Stinger a 0.13 because I gave myself a little wiggle room there because I thought maybe at that time that was the worst film I watched, and I thought maybe there's going to be something worse than that. And we went down. Stinger was below crush depth. We are way below that. I'm going to come in and give this a 0.05. And the only reason I'm not giving this a 0 is because of the acting of the German captain and the jokes by the 16-year-old who was clearly not 16. That was the only thing that I thought was even funny. So I'm giving myself a little more wiggle room, but honestly, if we go lower than this, I may just have to call it and just leave the show.
Alrighty. Zachary, do you have love it or hate it? Or
I actually do. Cue the music.
Ooh, love it or hate it or love it. Loving it and hating it. That's what we do.
Ladies and gentlemen, and other, love it, hate it. What do we want to hear first?
I want to hear hate it. I want to be surprised with the love it.
Okay. So our hate it, these reviews come to us from a little website called Amazon.com. Our hate it is coming from Hondonian Rebel. Reviewed in the United States on June 24th, 2020. An utter disgrace to even reference Nosferatu. Verified purchase. If fingernails on a chalkboard or root canals are your thing, then maybe you should give it a try. 15 minutes of this torture was all I could stand. Lost 20 IQ points, any remaining shred of self-respect, and replaced them with a lifetime's volume of regret just that fast. Seen better acting in 7th grade drama club. Seen better writing on stalled doors. Not so bad it's good. Fun to make fun of, or anything like that. Amazon should be giving us money if they're going to keep putting garbage like this on Prime. Positive ratings almost have to be coming from the cast, crew, friends, and family. I'd say no one is that dumb. But then again, I have watched The Evening lately. Wink face. 1 out of 5.
Very, very mean and crude take, but definitely not a dishonest one.
He's probably not incorrect that a lot of the good reviews are probably family and friends.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
I wouldn't, even if I was related to somebody in this film, I'd still give it a 1.
No, I'd give it a 7.
Love it.
Yes.
This comes from my guy, Jay Stam, reviewed in the United States, May 7th, 2020. Splendidly creepy. Verified purchase. I loved it. Captured the vibe of the World War II movies I was obsessed with in high school. The music, the dialogue, the acting, all excellent. Special effects got my heart racing, but blissfully cheesy enough to keep my pants dry.
Wow.
Supreme creepiness. Footage of vintage subs gliding through the briny deep. Really enjoyed it. 5 out of 5.
That it just looked like CGI submarines put through like a Photoshop filter. It looked like dog shit.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure what to say. I mean, that definitely a family or friend.
Oh yeah, that was probably a cousin or something.
And me.
You ready for
Did you say you, Alex?
Ready for a little trivia?
Yes.
All right. So there isn't too much to go on about this. There are some FAQs they have on IMDb, which are always fun to look at. So, like, was the movie filmed on a real German U-boat? Answer is no. They had made a scale reproduction of a WW2 submarine, built it in Seattle. They asked if they could get access to something, and they were not granted it for production. Are all the cast stand-up comedians? No, but they are part of a bunch of them are part of Laughs and Comedy Underground in Seattle, Washington. Is the flag a real flag on the command deck? Yes. One of the people, his grandfather fought against Germany and got it, and so they loaned it to the cast to use in the movie. Was there a real U-666? Yes. It was launched in 1942. So a whole bunch of stuff you can kind of learn about it. Pretty great. Who sings the song "I Love You, Miss Germany" at the end? And it was written and performed by Patrick Penta on guitar, and then the singer, the character or the actor Martin Krause, he sang the song. So there's a bunch of little fun, quick facts about this. It also won a couple of awards. They showed this movie, I guess, as part of Los Angeles Film Awards and New York Movie Awards. Two things I didn't really know too much about, but it won a monthly. So they run monthly, and they kind of show movies, and they have a winner for the month's movies that are shown. And it won February for the Los Angeles Film Awards, and then the January for New York Movie Awards. And that actually included Best Original Song for the New York Movie Awards one. Cool. And that is pretty much everything that I'm seeing. Do you want to do a quick quiz? I did see something on J-Archive. I'm going to pick that up real quick, so forgive the typing.
Is it a Nosferatu one?
Exactly. But it's all going to be all vampire themed. Why won't it search? Oh, there we go. Wrong one. There we go. All right. So, vampire potpourri. So potpourri, but vampire themed potpourri. 200, 400, 600, 800, and a daily double. Keep that in mind. Let you know that one. The 1,000 is a daily double. So let's see. Who gave the high? We'll start with highest. So Alex, you give the highest score, I believe, right?
Yeah.
10?
Yeah.
Which one do you want? 200, 400, 600, 800, or the 1,000 daily double?
200, Jamie.
All right. Lady Gaga gave a fine performance as the blood-sucking countess on the hotel edition of this FX series.
I know it.
I also know it.
I know it, but I can't think of the name of it. It's not Bates
AHS.
There we go. It is AHS, American Horror Story.
I was giving that as a hint to Alex.
Sorry, you can't. That's too big of a hint.
It's American Horror Story.
Yeah.
Wait, who gets the points for that?
No one.
I want to give them to Alex.
Losers.
I'm giving them to Alex.
Alex, you got the 200. Who was the next highest? Let's go. It's going to be Bram. So Bram, 400, 600, 800, or the 1,000?
600.
Sink your teeth into this vampire-themed cereal that frequently makes a comeback around Halloween.
What is Count Chocula?
A very good impression, and that is 600 points. Plus, you get 200. Let's double that 200. You get 200, it's 800
Yes.
for the good impression.
Yes.
Zach.
Does anybody like the Halloween cereals?
Yes, I do.
My brother is a huge
Blueberry.
huge blueberry fan.
Blueberry. Hit me, baby, one more time.
So 400, 800, or 1,000.
Hit me, baby, one more time.
I don't know what that means.
Surprise me.
800. This Marvel character from a 1998 movie is described as part man, part vampire. All hero.
It's easy.
What?
Easy.
You'll snipe this one, Zach.
Marvel
I
hero?
believe in you. I believe you're going to snipe this one.
1998?
Oh, he's not picking it up. He's not picking up what you're putting down.
1998. That's what you're saying?
1998.
You said, is this guy killing vampires or he is a vampire?
He's
Not
a
mutually
vampire
exclusive.
and a vampire hunter.
1998 movie.
I feel like
I mean,
I
you
know
might
for
need
a
you might need to
fact I
shave
never
that
saw it.
beard, Zach. I mean, this is just you got to put yourself in the shoes of when you were
Brom,
younger.
just pick up the points. What is it?
Van Helsing? I don't know.
It's Blade.
No, it's Blade.
Blade? I never saw it. I
Never
don't
saw
watch
it?
shit.
I've never seen it either.
All right, now that you three have answered, we're going to be doing it by name. So call out if you think you know the answer. This is the $400 question. Reading aloud from this novel, Chapter 13, Confessions. Edward in the sunlight was shocking.
Twilight.
Yeah, good one. And then finally, the Daily Double $1,000 question. The producer of this 1922 German silent film was accused of ripping off Bram Stoker's novel,
It's
Dracula.
Nosferatu.
Yes. So a little Nosferatu, Subferatu theme.
Don't mind me. I'll just get all of them.
Yeah, don't even worry
Grab all
about it.
these.
And I mean, it is interesting just from the point of view. Usually I talk about Ed Harris and his connection to this film. Obviously, Ed Harris was not going to be in Subferatu. He does love spending time in Seattle, but he was not going to be filming for 3 weeks in Seattle. He was, busy with his other projects and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But he did have a part in that movie that, Zach, you had a little trouble remembering. He actually appeared in Blade. Because, Bram, you're like an expert on Blade, it sounds
Apparently.
like. Do you remember Ed Harris's part in that?
No, I think the only scene I ever watched from Blade was when Jessica Biel was naked in the shower.
And that's interesting that you pick up that point, because that's also the scene that Harris is in.
Oh, really? Because that was Blade Trinity.
He's in all three of them, and,
Okay.
and all three of them have I believe all.
Scene.
Yeah, they have the same scene with Jessica Biel in the shower. It's actually that's actually part of the secret of Blade.
Oh, okay.
As a series. Is that every time they'd come back and be like, hey, we're making a new Blade movie, the studio would be like, hell no, why would we want to make this movie? And they'd be like, what about that? And they'd show the scene, the Jessica Biel scene, and they'd be like, yep, make it. And each time you can see Ed Harris appears. He's the plumber. So after she gets out of the shower, she's like, that shower wasn't working very well. And he goes, hey, I'm the plumber.
Oh.
Yep.
I don't
It's a pretty
remember
big
that.
part.
We'd always stop right after the moment where we thought we might have saw nipple, and that'd be it for
Yes,
us.
that was just before Ed Harris comes in and goes, hey,
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm the plumber.
That explains why I never seen that. Wow.
Yep. And he turns out to be a vampire plumber. That's his role. But he just does a really good job. He doesn't do anything vampire-like, but he is a vampire.
All right.
Yep.
He's got some range on him.
Yep. And then I do have to finish up a little bit with a little Phantom Zone.
Engage the Phantom.
Phantoms engaged, sir.
So while obviously I'm not going to be getting no one in this cast is in anything else, so it's obviously I'm not going to go through the actors.
There's got to
But
be
there is
somebody. You said the one
Well-
guy's has some acting credits.
Yes, but like Law and Order, that kind of stuff.
Oh, come on! I feel like you can make
now
it
maybe
work.
maybe there's probably, I'm sure there's a Law and Order episode with a submarine in it, and we can move from there. But instead, I'm going to go a little bit outside the box here. It was produced, and you can look at the list of producers: Niels Boll, Tom Hillman, Patrick Penta, Laura Pomeroy, just all the classic names. Craig Melville, interesting. Melville, Herman Melville. Same last name.
Mm-hmm.
Herman Melville, he wrote Moby Dick, and you're like, wait, Moby Dick doesn't have a submarine, but it does have a submarine. 2010 Moby Dick.
Moby Dick, yeah.
And that's the one we did use, and that we can get it from there. So nice little connection.
Good work.
Thank you.
I like it.
That's all I got.
Very nice. My dad just got a Reader's Digest edition of Moby Dick. I don't know if it's worth anything or not, but it's very old and very good condition still. Say what?
It's a Reader's Digest, so is
Yeah,
it
like a Reader's
it's
Digest,
shortened version?
No. It's like Reader's Digest released like classics, like literary classics of the 21st century or whatnot, or 20th century. And,
But were they abridged? Because isn't that normally what Reader's Digest is? Is it like takes things and makes them shorter?
I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know, but he's
Like, no, it's a normal length for Moby Dick, isn't it? Only like 46 pages long.
No. Okay. We got some news from one half of our gruesome twosome here, Alex.
You guys think I was actually looking up news? I found one interesting article.
Okay.
The title is, sorry, I had to pull it up. Navy conducts first drone delivery to ballistic missile submarine. The article title pretty much sums up the whole article. I guess this is some sort of new delivery system that they're working on. Sometimes I think submarines can be have deliveries made to them by like a helicopter, maybe another ship in the area, but that can be really limited. So they're using a drone here, unmanned drone, and it's carrying a payload of materials on the bottom of it, flies right over to it, and drops it on the submarine. Wow. I think it's kind of neat. It definitely help with logistics of items for what's ever needed. Considering a submarine can be out in the middle of who knows where in any sort of waters, and they'll be able to guide delivery of any kind of payload that they need to them. It's pretty neat, actually. I'm surprised that this hadn't been done before or earlier, and that this is just now happening. One of the seamen is quoted as saying,
"I'm coming for that egg."
No. He said, It really felt like we were part of shaping future operations for the Strategic Deterrence Force. So they're pretty proud of what they have done and what's to come. Wow. That's about the only really cool article I found.
Do they place their order on Amazon?
They may have. I don't know. Doesn't really say. But this particular sub that they delivered to has 20 nuclear missiles and multiple warheads aboard. So whoa! I guess getting, materials to them so they don't get too trigger happy is actually a pretty smart idea,
That is true. One way to think of it.
That's all I got for news. Anyone got any other news, or is that it? That's it.
That's it.
I got nothing.
I leave it to you. Yeah.
Cool.
Tube 3 ready to fire, sir.
Commence the countdown.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Give it to me.
All right. So I'm going to hop in here with a countdown. We are still on Halloween theme here. And in partnership with the Beer's Worth of Banter Boys, we are cracking into a 6-pack, our top 6 Halloween candies.
Oh.
I've got my 6 favorite Halloween candies.
I got a hot take for the end.
And an honorable mention. All right. We'll open it up for any hot takes and any of your favorites as well. Starting with number 6, one of my go-to chocolate items on this list. The Crunch Bar.
Crunch Bar, solid. What does that count within the scope of Bunch of Crunch? Or is that separate?
That does, yes. I would count Bunch of Crunch in there as well. And if you get those in your Halloween bag, go ahead.
Bunch of Crunch is the shit. So I'm all about Bunch of Crunch.
Mm-hmm. I'm into Bunch of Crunch as well. Not a sponsor, but it should be.
Oh my god, I would. You know what, Bunch of Crunch? I will get you tattooed on my body if you're our sponsor.
Season 2. Are we saying season 2 Bunch of Crunch season?
Yeah.
I like that.
I don't know how it'll work, but we'll do it.
I don't know either. We'll figure it out.
Number 5, counting down here. I think this is also Nestle chocolate. I'm a Nestle chocolate guy. Is the Butterfinger.
Oh yeah.
And so too would be Butterfinger BBs if you want to do what we just did with Bunch of Crunch. But Butterfinger.
Yeah. It's tough. Go ahead.
I like the regular Butterfinger, and I remember Bart Simpson was the cartoon sponsor for it back in the 90s and stuff with the Simpsons, and I just always remember getting the Butterfinger with Bart Simpson on it, and I'd eat it while watching the Simpsons. So
yeah, I will say that I think in my younger days, my salad days, I certainly munched on my fair amount of Butterfingers. No one could lay their fingers on my Butterfinger. I'm not a sponsor, but over the time, I find some of those candies that are quite sticky on my teeth that I'm not so much of a fan anymore.
That's a sticky candy?
Yeah, it gets all up in my
definitely gets
teeth.
stuck in your teeth. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Not subjective, Zach.
I don't think so. I think you're both wrong.
It gets stuck in there.
I think Twizzlers do.
Twizzlers do. What's the Milk Duds? They're real sticky. Oh.
I like Milk Duds.
Don't like Milk Duds.
They don't make my list, but I like them. Number 4, Swedish Fish.
Oh my God, yes.
Love them. Yes.
We have departed from chocolate. There's no more chocolate items on my list.
Whoa, really?
Really?
Dude, ask Alex
are you saying
about
pure?
Swedish Fish.
Yeah, Alex. What about Swedish Fish?
I know our captain loves them, but he's not here right now. But if he's listening to this, he's probably getting ready to go grab a bag and start eating them right now.
My only problem with Swedish Fish under the Halloween candy item is you don't often get the small bags of Swedish Fish. I was always so pissed when you'd get the individually wrapped Swedish Fish. That was one of the shittiest candies to receive, even though I love Swedish Fish.
So I will say I have fond memories of Swedish Fish at the Sydney pool, and I would get them in a plastic baggie wrapped, and I would eat them and then have to wait 15 minutes to go swimming, because that makes sense, right? And but I always hated getting the different colored Swedish Fish. I only like the red ones. The other ones suck.
Completely agree. I had the tropical ones this past year. Horrible. Absolutely inedible. Can't eat them. Terrible.
Inevitable.
Number 3, those same vein as Swedish Fish, and also one I hate to get individually wrapped, but I'll still lovingly eat and enjoy the delectable nature of the Sour Patch Kid.
I was going to say, Sour Patch Kid makes sense as the next step to go. Love them.
And I still eat a lot of those to this day. I've got a box. Still actively eat those. Got a box behind me. Number 2, whenever I can track these down, I love to get the large bar of this, but it is grape Laffy Taffy.
Ooh,
interesting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different Laffy Taffies, and there's crazy taffy as well. We used to get it at the country club next to the pool there, and I had the sprinkles and stuff in it. Those are also really good.
Yeah.
Is this the same vein?
Ben,
same idea? Same idea as Airhead, or were you thinking
not an Airhead
different
guy? Not an Airhead guy.
I agree. I did not like Airheads, still don't. But Laffy Taffy, those big old sticks, whoa, buddy.
Yeah, I feel
Watch out.
Obviously they're both just pure sugar, but I felt like Airheads were just pure sugar. It even had a texture of it. It wasn't even properly blended. It just was gritty. But Laffy Taffy was art. It was so good. And number 1, I don't know if this is a really popular or prevalent candy, but these are so good. I can't let myself be around these. It's just rotting my teeth. and they only have like 5 or 10 seconds of flavor, so you have to pop more and more, and then your mouth just like is corroding. But it is the Crybaby sour bubble gum.
Huh.
They were
Crybaby.
Yep, Crybaby sour bubble gum.
I know what you're talking about. I'm a little surprised that it makes it all the way to the top.
I
have
love
a bunch
them.
of. I have a bunch
my
of.
honorable mention was blow pops. I love the green apple with bubblegum blow pop.
You're really not like a chocolate guy. I'm a huge chocolate guy. Huge chocolate guy.
So Ben, you're saying those Cryberry sour bubblegum is your number one thing?
I love them. I love it.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
I don't think any other candy emulates that style of like sourness either. Like,
Interesting.
like I feel like a lot of candies are like on the Sour Patch spectrum, where it's just like the sour sugar whatever coating on it. Like I feel like the Crybaby sour bubble gum is just like very delicious and unique. Although I guess Warheads kind of do the same thing, that kind of dry powder.
See, I always like the strawberry Warheads.
Mm-hmm. Warheads were pretty good, but like I can pass on Warhead. Like if I see Crybaby sour bubble gum, like in a candy jar, like I'm just grabbing them.
Can I mention a few?
Yeah, hop in here. What are your guys' opinions and takes? What's your favorite candy?
So I'm much more of a chocolate guy, but I'm also like, I got certain flavors that I like it, and they drive my wife a little crazy because we have a candy bowl. We both have huge sweet tooths. We're huge into like ice cream cakes, ice cream in general, and that kind of stuff. But so we have a bowl of candy, and I really like minty stuff. So like junior mints or like York peppermint patties.
Yep. Peppermint patties.
So I enjoy those, and the same thing goes for coconut. I love coconut. So like Mounds or Almond Joy are also ones that I love kind of seeing end up in that candy thing. But the one that will be there, and I have to actually stop myself, especially working from home now. I have to like be like, whoa, I've had 3 of these today. I gotta like slow my roll. Is anything Reese's, really? Reese's Pieces, Reese's pumpkin shaped Reese's. Christmas shaped Reese's,
Easter eggs,
dark chocolate covered, white chocolate covered, milk chocolate covered, any type of Reese's, anything. Yeah. I'm just like munch. That's probably number one. And I said I had a scorching hot take, super hot take. Watch out, guys, because you're gonna get burned. I like candy corn.
Oh,
I enjoy it. I enjoy eating it, and I will eat candy corn.
I was trying to think because a lot of people get persecuted for liking Almond Joy. Like they even made fun of it on The Boys, and I'm like, what's a hotter take than Almond Joy? You're right. Candy corn is atrocious.
I don't mind candy corn. I don't mind it.
Oh my!
I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
It's just like waxy
sugar.
sugar. Yeah,
it's sugar.
It is,
but it's really. Yeah.
I don't seek it out, but I will gladly say, like, yeah, give me a couple. You know, whatever. You know what I don't like are those orange pumpkins. You know what I'm talking about?
Sure. Oh, gosh. Yeah, those are awful, too.
Those are not great.
But yeah, scorching hot take.
But no, Jamie, you know, I think I'm starting to connect with you because I, too, like chocolate. And
it's a hot take, really. Hot take. Like chocolate.
I know we kind of mentioned my big one, Butterfingers with Bunch of Crunch, dude. Oh my god, I love it. But I can't think of anything. Kit Kats, I love Kit Kats. I love the dark chocolate Kit Kats. I like the white chocolate Kit Kats. Give it all to me.
Oh, and yeah, obviously like a Twix. I can go for a Twix. I think the other thing that I growing up, do you know my favorite was growing up?
Cream chocolate. I love
Three Musketeers.
Okay,
Three Musketeers. I used to what I used to love to do, and it's going to be weird. I used to love eating all the chocolate off of the Three Musketeers. So then you just had a big log of nougat, and then I would roll and eat the whole thing of nougat.
Yeah,
never did that.
I like Snickers. Nice. I like whatchamacallits. I'll eat Three Musketeers. There's not many chocolate ones that I steer clear of, really.
I don't do
Hershey. I just don't like Hershey chocolate.
I don't mind Hershey chocolate. It's not my go-to. But like,
anybody that knows Zach and I know I always catch Zach sucking on chocolate. What chocolate are you indulging in when I hear those mouth noises coming from you?
More often than not, it's just a brand of chocolate. Can't think of the name of it, but it's at Aldi's, and it's very good. I get their dark chocolate bar. It's usually $1.39. And it's very good. And I break off a few of those pieces, and I have them next to my computer, and I munch on them. And Ben calls me out, and I don't care.
It's a very Your voice just changes, and it's like a very like phlegmy, just nasally, just.
It's like a cat.
It's all right.
Wet
It's all right.
food.
I'll get over it. It's okay.
Great. For our listeners.
Okay. All right. Well, unless Alex needs to share any opinions on Halloween candy, then I think we can move on to some Zach facts.
The only thing I gotta say is I'm okay with candy corn. Everything
See?
else.
Wow.
Candy
I'm
corn's
outnumbered
fine.
on this. That's crazy.
I've never had Bunch of Crunch, whatever you guys are talking about. Never even heard of it.
Oh, Bunch of Crunch is great.
Never had.
It's a crunch bar like broken up into bits, like and rolled into.
I swear it tastes better. It
It's
tastes
good.
better.
It's good. It's good.
It
I'm
does,
not.
yeah.
I didn't know they even did that. So that's news to me. I didn't know that they made really long ropes of Laffy Taffy. I just always thought it was the little miniature things.
You never saw those
And
big ass
honestly,
ones, Alex?
In the same
No.
vein of the Bunch of Crunch versus the Crunch Bar, there's a difference, I think, between the large bar of Laffy Taffy versus the individually wrapped ones. The large bar of grape Laffy Taffy is to die for. I heat it up, like I'll like just like hold it between my hands for a little bit while I'm doing something, and just like get it a little bit above room temperature, and it just melts. It's so good.
Yeah, I've never had it. I didn't even know that you could eat the top part of a Three Musketeers bar and then just eat the rest of it.
The
Like
nougat,
Jamie
yeah.
does. Yeah.
Can I ask a quick question as well, Alex? What do you think about Raisinets?
Is it just like little tiny raisins?
They're raisins
Chocolate-covered
covered in
raisins.
chocolate. Chocolate-covered raisins.
Oh, that is not my style. No,
Oh
I don't
shit,
think
guys!
I don't think I'd like it. I don't know if
What?
I've ever had them, but I don't think I'd like it.
I forgot a candy that would be in my top 6 for sure, and it's
I thought you were going to say
snow
you.
caps.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that you
Wasn't
had not
recording?
recorded or something. Yeah.
Me too, dude.
No, I've been recording. Snow caps though.
Oh, yeah.
More of a movie theater candy than a Halloween candy because
That's
you
what made,
can't
that's
get
what made me
those.
think of the Raisinets as well. It's like I was trying to think of my movie theater candies, and it's like Junior Mints, Bunch of Crunch, and then I was like, oh, Raisinets. That's another one that I got.
Dude, snow caps, fond memories going to the Sydney movie theater. My dad would always get those, the snow caps. Love
So
them.
good, so good.
Love
Perfect texture, and I love whatever chocolate brand that is.
Yeah.
It's a fun conversation. I feel like we've talked more about this than the actual movie.
It's better than the movie. Candy's better than this movie. Instead
Yeah,
of watching this movie, save yourself $2.99 and go buy some Bunch of Crunch or your
That's a
favorite
great
candy bar.
idea. Yeah, go save the use the money that you rent this movie with and go buy some Bunch of Crunch.
Yeah, you can go to those like Walgreens and stuff and get like dollar candy boxes. You can
Not
get
a
3 of
sponsor.
them. You can
You
get
go to
3 of
many
them.
different stores, not just Walgreens.
Walgreens only. Get it. And your flu shot.
Good idea. Yes, I also advocate for getting flu shots.
Okay,
All right.
Can I throw one more thing out there before we switch?
Absolutely.
I've never had snow caps either.
Wow. I like the darkness of the chocolate of the snow cap.
Yes, so good.
Alex, I know what your Christmas gift is going to be.
Yeah.
Get him one of those giant snow caps, like the giant one. One snow cap.
A giant Bunch of Crunch.
I do like
That'd be
Ferrero,
amazing.
the Ferrero Rochers or however those are
Yeah.
called.
I have an allergy to, I don't know if it's the hazelnuts or what, but I can't eat those, but those are delicious.
Do you guys like Nutella?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good.
God, a lot of hot takes today on this podcast. Nutella, good.
It's good. I like Nutella.
What a
I
hot
like it.
take. I don't know anybody that doesn't like Nutella.
I'm sure there's one asshole out there.
Hi. Well, watch out because the first Zach fact is that Zach does not like Nutella. That's a Zach fact.
And this is Zach fact.
Hit it.
Yeah, you can just go. I think he has to
All
edit
right.
it in.
Yeah, I'm playing with it. All right, guys, I'm gonna be honest. I got a jet. I can't do the Zach facts, but we got a live phone call from our guy Mike Dooley. He's gonna take over for me, and he's gonna do the rest of these. Okay.
Okay. Wow.
Okay.
This is awesome.
Hey,
we
Mike.
got it.
Well,
Well, now
Mike-
we have to give this movie a 10 out of 10. now.
Yeah, I changed my score to a 12. a full foot long.
Wow.
Mike, how's it going? Great to have you. Let's get right into this.
Jamie,
Facts.
thank you very much. I love talking to you, and I love all of your movie opinions.
Wow. All of them, huh?
Exactly all
Even
of them.
even earlier when he gave this movie like a 1.
Yes, because I give this movie a 1 too. It ruined my career.
Mike Dooley.
I had a lot of things going for me.
Damn. Well, we're sorry to hear that. We didn't know that this had such a profound impact on.
That's the
on your
first. No,
career.
that was the first Zach fact. He had a lot of things going for him.
Oh.
Heyo.
All
Yeah,
right, we've got
take it
some
away.
facts for you tonight. How many do you think he left me to read?
Oh my God, we're still doing over under. Over under. I'm gonna go high. I'm gonna go 4.5.
Wow. I'm going under.
I'm gonna go over.
Over. You're doing at least 6.
Okay, let's find out if Zach did 6 Zach facts. I've got them here right in front of me. All right, fact number 1. IGN.com ran a poll. What's worse in 2020, COVID-19 or Subferatu? 69% said Subferatu.
Oh shit!
Ooh.
Shots fired. Tell that to all the families.
69%. I've been there before.
Mike Dooley. Love it.
Nice.
Okay, fact number 2. Turns out bats are hard to train. And over 420 were used and killed at the conclusion of the movie.
Oh my God, 69, 420.
420? I was doing that a lot in this movie. Don't even remember filming.
Mike Dooley.
Does that count as 2 Zach facts?
Oh, he only wrote those 2 with 1 more for a total of 3.
It's gonna be 666.
So the fact number 3 was Patrick Penna said the sequel is coming fast, and it's called Subferatu.
Oh.
2. You've been there before.
Thanks, Jamie. Keep up the great work.
Wow, 3
And
Zach
that's all I
facts.
got. This is Mike Dooley. Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
Thank you for listening to Submersion. Don't forget to subscribe for new episodes every Thursday. If you like what you heard, please leave us a rating wherever you listen. Want to interact with us? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We also love to get messages from all of you. If you have a suggestion, a comment, or just anything you'd like to share, please email us at macestudios@gmail.com.